day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside the Dell. As you know, we film these at different times during the course of the year, so to give you a little frame of reference, today is March 1st, and we are just before we enter the real busy season here at the schools with the testing and programs that have to go on from the state. But we're going to take a little break from that because we're going to talk today to Ms. Lisa Smith, who is the music director here at the high school, and Mrs. Kathy Zintel, who is the music director at the middle school. And we're going to talk a little bit about the value of our music program, which to some of you, it may be new to you, but I hope that when you see some of our board meetings on TV and you hear some of the other opportunities that we have around here, you've taken advantage of our music program because it does provide a wonderful opportunity for our kids to showcase their talent. And I'm always listening the praises of our kids and the accomplishments of our kids at board meetings. So our kids are very talented both academically and artistically, and we're going to focus a little bit on the artistic today. So I'd like to introduce Ms. Lisa Smith, who is the music director here at the high school, and Mrs. Kathy Zintel, who is the music director at the middle school. So let's start at the high school, just because you're closest to me. Could you tell a little bit about yourself to the audience so that they, know what it is that you do and how long you've been here, et cetera?
Okay, I've been at Dell for about I think this is my 18th year, and I started out teaching both in the middle school and the high school. I had the entire choral program in the middle and high school, and I actually taught one of the bands down in the middle school when I started. And then the program just grew, and we started getting more influx of students, so we had to eventually hired 2 new teachers. So then I became full-time up at the high school. And now I'm teaching the entire program at the high school, both courses in the band program.
And so when you say we expanded, we currently now have 3 full-time music teachers employed in the school district, correct? And both of you are handling, if you will, the live kind of performances, if you will, and our third music teacher is handling some other stuff as far as electronic music in the labs, et cetera. That's Mike O'Reilly. He's not with us today because I was really focusing on the live performance. So, Kathy, if you could...
That's right, Mr. Fletcher. So, again, at the middle school also, I'm the music director. I do partake in some of the classroom music classes, but I am the director of all 4 performing ensembles, and in the spring, a 5th performing ensemble, the Select Chorus. So I've been at Riverdale at the middle school entirely this is my 10th year, and I also started out as the choral director and in charge of both the 7th and 8th grade chorus, and then we began the Select Chorus as well. And then about 4 years ago, I took over the bands as well, so both the concert band 8th grade and the 7th grade cadet band. So those are the 4 ensembles that perform biannually, twice a year, and then the Select Chorus, and Mr. O'Reilly handles the stage band at the middle school. They perform in the spring concert.
I should also add Mr. O'Reilly handles the marching band
At the high school.
Program at the high school.
Actually 7 through 12. There's some middle schoolers involved as well.
Right, they do have students participating in marching band who are middle school students.
Correct.
And they perform at the athletic events as well as in their own program.
And parades.
And whatnot.
Yes.
And festivals.
Right. So since you've been here 18 years and you've been here 10, you both started when you were, what, about 12 years old working here?
That's correct. 11.
11, excellent. In the programs that we have, how do students become part of either the band or the other performing ensembles or chorus, et cetera?
Would you like me to start on the middle
Sure,
school
go
level?
ahead.
Because then that would directly feed
Absolutely.
into the high school level. At the middle school level, anybody is welcome into the chorus classes. There is no prerequisite. You just have to like to sing, so that's easy. If you want to be part of the Select Chorus, however, that audition takes place in December, and for the kids in the choral program, it helps them, especially 7th graders, become acclimated to the vocal techniques that we learn in class. And really helps their admittance into the group. And then in the band program, most of the students come from the two feeding districts, Oradell and River Edge, and having participated for 3 years in their instrumental program where they learned as beginners in 4th grade through 6th grade. But occasionally we'll take a straggler, someone who's learned just recently, and we'll help groom them to get them acclimated. I try not to turn anybody away if at all possible. But in a band instrumental situation, of course, playing all different instruments requires all different types of skill sets. So it's a little tough in such a heterogeneous setting to handle, a beginner. So if a beginner wants to join, I simply ask that the parent obtain some private instruction to get them up to speed.
And then so if they come in 7th grade, they continue in 8th grade as a part of their regular schedule?
Absolutely. It's part of the regular class schedule.
And then as the child transitions from 8th to the 9th grade, the high school, how do they move into your programs?
We offer, for the band, again, it's a feeder program from the middle school up to high school. They've been taking their instrument for at least 3 to 5 years. And we offer 2 sections of band, one that meets during what we call the quote-unquote normal school day,
Sure.
and then one after school to fit in anyone who cannot fit it into their schedule. And again, the only prerequisite is that they own an instrument, basically. Well, actually, they don't even have to own an instrument. We have some instruments to provide for them, but they have to be able to have some skills in playing an instrument. For chorus, again, just as in the middle school, the general chorus is for any student. You don't have to have any skill sets at all. And that meets, we have a section, it changes from year to year, but this year we have a section during the school day, and then we also offer a 9th period. But
That's the after school.
That's the after
After
school,
school.
right. And it's quite large. I mean, right now I have 86 students in that 9th period. Then for select choir, they have to audition for that the previous year. And they have to go through a pretty rigorous audition. And I do blind auditions, I record them, and and then I pick a select choir, and then they have to sign up the next year for that class.
So to give an example, a child would audition as a sophomore to become
junior
part of the
year.
select choir as a junior.
Correct,
Okay.
right.
And
Mhm.
then the 8th graders do also. They've
Yeah.
already auditioned for next year.
Right, so.
Okay.
And that's
they-
where Lisa and I will work together,
Yeah.
and I'll help the kids prepare a bit, and then we discuss and help make that transition smooth for the kids.
Yeah, which is really nice too, because I usually do a rehearsal before the school year begins. We've been doing since 9/11. We've been doing the 9/11 ceremony in Oradell. So we always have a few rehearsals before the school starts. And what I'm hearing from the kids, especially the 8th graders coming in as 9th graders, is that, and from their parents, is that it's really nice way for them to kind of transition to the high
Sure,
school. Because
sure.
my kids, it's like a family. I'm sure you feel the same way.
thing.
And they kind of take them in under their wings and make them feel welcome. We actually do a little food spread for them and welcome them and introduce them. So it's a really nice way for them to, because it's very scary when they come up here
Absolutely,
in the 9th grade.
absolutely.
So it's a kind of a home for them to feel, welcome. So it's nice.
And
Lorraine-
that's the same, I'm
Good.
sorry.
Sorry.
That's the same thing with the elementary schools. I visit the elementary schools at least twice during the year, each of the 2 River Edge schools and Oradell Public. And we talk with the kids about how to schedule and what it's all about. And it gives them a familiar face. So again, they have a smooth transition. And when they walk into my room the first day, they have a home and they know it. And they have someone they can go to that will always take care of them. And that's one thing Lisa and I both think about music as we are all communal. Everybody is together. We all have the same passion, and we have something in common with the kids before we even meet them.
Sure.
We dig music.
Right.
Both of you have music not only here but also in your own background, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're both musicians,
Yes.
for instruments, if you will, as well as vocal musicians,
Yes.
if you'll.
Correct, yes.
If I'm saying it incorrectly, forgive me.
that's- no, that is
but you have both skill sets in order to.
Yeah, which is kind of
bring the kids
unusual.
along.
Right.
If you think about it,
We're
because
strange.
a lot of time, people, when you go to college to become a music teacher, you usually have a focus, your instrument, like you'll be choral. And maybe you'll have to take a couple instrumental classes, but we both have instrumental backgrounds. I was an instrumental major, but I always sang professionally. And you,
I was a piano major, but I played in band all my life on the clarinet, and that went into the saxophone and the flute and all the so I did both things in high school, instrumental and choral. And I went to Indiana University where they offered a duo degree in music education, both instrumental and choral.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And I really like both of them equally.
Yeah.
And I think that my choral background helps me with my instrumental work and vice versa.
Absolutely.
They work together.
Absolutely. I mean,
They are different.
You approach, I mean, I find I consider myself first and foremost an instrumentalist. I always have. And I approach, but it's funny, I ended up doing choral more than instrumental. Now I'm back into doing both. But I approach teaching chorus probably different than a voice major may. I mean, I have taken many courses in vocal music, and I feel I'm very capable of teaching vocal music. But you do approach teaching singers more with an instrumental mindset, which I think in a lot of ways is good, because I think a lot of vocalists, people think vocalists are not as skilled musicians, and I treat them, they must be skilled musicians, which is, I think, helpful.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Agreed.
We're going to take just a quick break here, pick up on this when we come back, because I'd like to have you tell us a little bit about what the students are doing and how they're performing
Absolutely.
as well. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Watching TV? You're grounded. But Mom, it's already TV. I don't care what it is. There's no TV for you. No, I have to watch it. I have to. Nicole, I don't care. Turn that TV off right now. Go do your homework.
And I'm here to introduce the brand new Riverdale Television YouTube channel.
Nicole, is that RDTV?
No, it's my homework. Don't worry about it.
I don't think so. It looks like RDTV, and I've had enough of this. You're grounded for another week.
You can't ground me for watching
Oh,
RDTV.
yes, I can. Young lady, turn that off right now and go right up to your bed.
She doesn't know what she's missing.
Nicole? Nicole, I said go to bed. Nicole, are you listening to me? Nicole! Nicole, give me the phone right now. Give me the phone. That's it. Go to bed now. This is great. I should ground Nicole more often.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. As I said earlier, we're with Lisa Smith, who is our music director at the high school, and Kathy Zentel, who is our music director at the middle school. We've been talking a little bit about our music program, a little bit about the background of our two music educators, and a little bit about the skill sets that the kids either join us with or develop as they move through our music program. So any child, Kathy, when they transition from the 6th grade up from the elementary districts, has a fair shot of joining in.
Absolutely.
And then you help to kind of mold and develop their talent a little bit. And as a child transitions from 8th to 9th, you and Lisa work together to
Yes.
Transition those students up. And then I guess you also have an opportunity for kids to come in and join you when they come into the high school, even if they haven't participated
Correct.
before. And of course, I'm talking about the typical child that goes to the elementary districts, then comes to the middle school, then comes to the high school. But of course, I'm sure you're also flexible if you have a child that transfers to the district from another school, a child that transfers out of the district as well.
Absolutely.
But so kids can come in and out of the program.
We're always looking for new kids to be involved, always.
Absolutely.
I'll hear a kid's voice in the hallway, oh, That's a nice sound. Why don't you go out for choir? So we try to recruit all kids because we know how important it is to them.
Now, our students are participating during the day, and as we discussed, in some cases after school, after their typical school day.
Correct.
In the music program. And as not only music people, but also teachers and educators, do you find that music helps students in the other part of their school day? The math and the language arts and all the other kind of things that go on?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Speak a little to that.
Sure. I mean, the transfer of the skills that are acquired through these ensembles in the class is one thing. At the concert is a different thing. So what the public sees is just a straight performance of excellence, kids working together, collaborating towards a common goal, a high standard. But in the everyday work, we're learning about higher order thinking, how to sing in tune, how to play in tune. We're learning about problem solving when things go wrong, what do we do to fix it. And so the skill sets that they learn are incredible for their academic work and their social well-being as well. So social and emotional learning happens at the same time, developing their self-esteem, their confidence, their ability to be risk takers, which is a huge piece, and especially on the middle school level, the kids have so many forces working around them and against them.
Sure.
And trying to combat that, sometimes it is music that helps them through that whole process. It is a difficult time for the kids.
Sure.
It's a pretty complex process, learning to perform or just putting a piece of music together. I think unless you've actually gone through it, I don't think people realize how complex it is.
Sure.
I mean, they're multitasking constantly, and there's actually much research out there about how students who take music, especially from early on, when their brains are just developing, how there are connections made when they take instrumental music. And now there's a lot of research coming out about choral music as well. And they actually have connections made in their brain that would not be made if they don't take music. And just the learning of reading music, the small icon recognition, learning to read symbols, transfers over into language and the language arts, as well as the mathematical process just of the rhythm, which is math. There are some schools that teach math through music.
Sure.
Because you could learn, easily learn fractions through music. I use that process all the time. And it's interesting because if you go to a lot of these engineering and mathematical schools and Ivy League schools, they have fabulous ensembles. I mean, there is definitely a connection there. Music makes you smart. It really does.
Well, I think it does. The arts are important to me. As a superintendent, I think it plays a very valuable part of the school. I think we've been very fortunate at Riverdale to be able to maintain our commitment to the arts, despite some very challenging financial times that we've been involved in. And kudos to you, too, and to Mike for taking full advantage of it, if you will, because I know that in the 6 years I've been here, I've watched both programs at the middle school and the high school expand. There's more kids in it than before, and they're doing, if you will, more complex stuff than they've ever done before. I try to come and see every one of the performances at some point or another, and you have in the middle school, if you will, 2 large performances that take place that are like summative, if you will.
Yes.
One is around the Christmas holiday time.
Correct.
And one is around the...
about the 3rd week in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that features both the band and the chorus.
Well, both bands, and then they combine for one piece, and both choruses, and they combine for one piece at the end. And then in the spring, we bring in the select chorus and Mr. O'Reilly's stage band. So there's 6 ensembles in the spring. And there's quite a huge difference between the 2 concerts, which is nice to see. Because I only have the kids for 2 years, and it's really not very much time to groom them. I find my 8th graders, we just get it going, and then off they go.
Sure.
But it's okay, and I'd like to reiterate that our relationship, and again, the relationship with the elementary teachers and myself and Lisa, has grown, and we all help stimulate each other's programs, and it's important. And back to the kids, just the whole spatial reasoning, all of that, all those skill sets is proven. There's studies that some of these high school students that have won science and math awards, most of them are musicians. And a lot of times the kids, when they go through the schools, they know they had fun in band or they had fun in chorus.
Sure.
It's later that they realize, that helped me. I'm a disciplined problem solver. I'm a creative thinker. I am flexible. I know how to get myself out of a difficult situation, which sometimes happens in concerts. And that whole collaborative teamwork thing, they don't realize what they're learning and the amount of responsibility that they keep. And Lisa and I both, I think, have the same high standard that, if we're going to perform, we're going to do it at this level. And this is what we need to get there. And they fight us tooth and nail in the
sure.
process. And when it's done, that's the success, that they understand through hard work and raising the bar to great excellence, they can do this. So even a struggling student, I matter. I did well in that.
Sure.
And that transfers over. And maybe if I work hard somewhere else, I can do better in that piece. And I know I work at the middle school, I explain when your classwork, your academic work is well off, and you're doing well in classes, everything else falls into place.
Sure.
So you can't just be in chorus and have fun, because everything comes crashing down if your academics aren't there.
Sure.
So
Now, before I ask you, it was a year or two back, I participated in, if you will, a professional learning community that the arts, if you will, people did. And I think all of the music teachers from the elementary, the middle school, and the high school, you were all together. And I sat in on a conversation that you all had amongst yourselves. And it was somewhat eye-opening to me, and I wish a lot of other people could participate in it, because you didn't just talk music, if you will. You talked about education, you talked about different styles of learning that kids have, and you talked about how to improve that transition from the elementary to the middle to the high school, and how it did affect the rest of their academic performance. And it was a very wide-ranging, very, if you will, from my point of view, sitting as the superintendent, it was a joyful conversation to watch and to see. Now, at the high school, you also have some culminating experiences for the different ensembles that get together, correct?
Correct. We also do the 2 concerts a year, but we also participate in several festivals. Pretty much every year we do the Region Festival, which I think Kathy does as well with her middle school kids.
Well, we get stuck with testing conflict, but we're going to try to make it this year.
And we also there's a wonderful choral festival at Montclair State University. It's state-of-art theater, and it's wonderful. So those are we do every year. We do some community performances.
Sure.
I said the 9/11, and we also, every year I try to give them a little extra. This year we're doing the concert under the direction of Eric Whitaker at Carnegie Hall. So I try to expose them to things beyond just the school. I think it's important also that the students get a chance to perform in really state-of-the-art facilities. It's incredible to walk on the stage of Carnegie Hall.
Oh, God.
Where the best performers in the world have been there. Also, I think it's important both Kathy and I give the students opportunities to perform with other directors, because as much as we'd like to think that they only need us, I think it's really important they're exposed to different conductors. And so we give them the opportunity to perform with the Bergen County ensembles, the region ensembles, and at the high school level, the all-state ensembles. And these are auditioned groups, and I think
Those things can't happen just inside the 9 to 3 day, correct?
Right.
They happen outside?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And
It's all outside.
It's all
of the
outside.
school
So it's
day.
after school, it's the weekends, et cetera?
Correct.
And the preparation for such an audition is huge. So I try to explain to the kids, whether you make the ensemble or not is not the issue. You are better off having prepared and actually gone through an audition, especially at the middle school level. It's pretty, it's a daunting experience for the kids.
Yeah,
they do it seems strange, but even if you have 10, or this year we have 12 kids in the All North Jersey Junior High Chorus, And they're about to start tonight is their first rehearsal. Believe it or not, just that little bit, that small number of students coming back into the ensembles, they bring that experience and professionalism back. I notice they sit up a little straighter, they work a little harder because they've gone from this level to that level and they know what is possible. And that's a hard thing to convey to students, what they really are capable of with hard work. And I think that fills that
I always
void.
say you're not born great, you're born with potential to be great, and it's through hard work and perseverance that you become great.
I think the kids are also, not only, as you mentioned, developing self-esteem and a good self-image, et cetera, they're pretty courageous as well to stand out in front of their peers and to expose themselves, if you will, in that artistic endeavor where they could blow it or they could
That's
soar.
right.
And I think it's kind of an unrecognized thing that the kids go through when they are going to participate.
Sure, I mean,
Especially the choral kids.
I was going to say, go into any situation, go into the next faculty meeting and say, okay, Mr. So-and-so, get up and give us a rendition of,
Sure.
people like, ah! I mean, it's a scary, scary thing. So they have to be, I always say, be brave. You've got to be brave to be a musician. I mean, you're really putting yourself out, you're putting something very personal out there for everyone to see. You've got to be courageous and brave.
And I mentioned choral singing because, and I actually got up on the risers one day and looked out and I thought, this is daunting. You have nothing to hide behind like an instrumentalist with a stand. And it is
true.
It is your body.
Yeah.
And singing, because it is your body, people are self-conscious about
Especially
it.
at
And
the
that's
middle
where
school level.
The
Oh my
risk-taking
goodness.
comes into play and
Well,
helps.
on that high note, pardon the pun,
Ba-dum-bum.
I'm going to thank you for both being here.
Thank you for having us.
For exposing the general audience that watches our show to our music program. And I certainly would encourage the communities at large to come and see what we do here because it's a wonderful thing. And you should both be proud of what you do as well as working with Michael as well.
Absolutely. And our students.
And our students.
we like them too.
Absolutely. So that is going to conclude our edition of Inside the Dell. However, as it is March, we are also entering our budget season, and the next couple of Board of Education meetings will feature the introduction and the approval of the budget for the next school year for 2012-13. So if you're unable to participate as a live person, if you will, at our board meetings, certainly please keep in touch by viewing RDTV on Thursday evenings where meetings are broadcast, and then follow us on the website www.riverdell.org, where we'll be posting information as we go along. And as always, I'd like to thank Mr. Anthony Traina and the students here at RDTV who are producing and putting this show on, because this is completely done by students. There are students behind the cameras, working the audio, and making us look great. So thank you again for being here.
Nicole? Alexis, you know what day it is.
I know what day it is.
Alright, we've only got 5 hours.
I'm on my way.
Nicole! Get in there, handshake! Turkey, 10. Maybe it's cold outside for 40. Where am I for 50? Just numbers for 30. Woo! Alright, Nicole, you gotta hone in. Fuck up. Don't stangle it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Soda. Check. Chips. We need chips! Check. Game day seats! Live with your legs! Alright, I think it's time. You ready? Yeah, let's go. Jeopardy! Jeopardy! Jeopardy!
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for Chef RD?
Oh my